Hello, I'm Tyler Tully, and today I'm joined by Redcastle Resources Director Ron Miller. Ron, can you start by telling us a bit about the company and your key projects?
Thanks very much for having me on the show today. Welcome the opportunity to share the Redcastle story with your viewers. Just a bit of background. Redcastle Resources reemerged on the ASX in 2022 with a suite of 10 tenements in the Leonora Greenstone Belt. And those tenements are the core of our acreage holding right at the moment. Field activities started straight away with both drilling and soils augering in 2022, but the results were pretty inconclusive, and in 2023 the board decided that we would have an independent study done. Now, this independent study was done by Karis Mining Limited, led by Dr. Spiro Karis. And the main conclusion they came up with was these tenements were absolutely worth holding on to because they had great potential. The second conclusion was we had to drill deeper if we wanted high grades. And the third conclusion was we needed to drill at Queen Alexandra in preference to Redcastle Reef, which are the two primary targets we had at the time. Now, CML had just finished the work they had done at Van Gogh because Van Gogh had been taken over by Catalyst. So this was an ideal time to keep them working with Redcastle, and they designed the next drilling campaign for us. And that happened in the middle of 2023. The results of that drilling campaign were really quite conclusive. And in February 2024, Redcastle Resources released its maiden JORC-compliant resource at Queen Alexandra, and that was 10,600 ounces of gold. 90% of that was really indicated, and 10% was inferred. Now, 10,000 ounces doesn't sound like a lot, but at today's prices, that's about $50 million worth of revenue if you can have an economic project from that. What happened after that was we got a lot of encouragement from that result, and we designed a diamond drilling campaign for later in 2024. That diamond drilling campaign was really targeted on the thesis that if we drilled deeper, we would definitely get higher grades. And the diamond drilling campaign proved that. We had 2 holes that had visible gold in them, and one even had a bonanza grade of 133 grams per ton across a meter, and a total of about 37.5 grams per ton across 4 meters at depth. Interestingly, we also went back and looked at one of the earlier RC holes, and we found that it also had visible gold and high grade at depth too. So having proved that thesis, we were able to move forward and design and commit to another RC drilling program. And that really is the latest drilling campaign. But also coming out of that, we were able to generate JORC-compliant exploration targets for QA and for Redcastle Reef. And the combined total of that exploration target is about 420,000 ounces.
And what did you learn about that drilling campaign?
The latest drilling campaign we had was quite a great result for the company. We have been able to identify and name a mineralized lode on the basis of comprehensive drilling at Queen Alexandra. 51 of the 70 holes that have intersected the Kestrel lode have been mineralized at greater than 1 gram a ton. And over 40 of those holes, basically of the 51, are greater than 2 grams a ton. The drilling campaign also targeted holes at Redcastle Reef for the first time since we drilled it in 2022. And we were quite pleased with the outcome there. We had a 16-meter intersection at 1.2 grams a ton, which proved the prognosis that we had on a pre-drill basis. It definitely creates the opportunity for Redcastle Reef to be a very good adjunct to Queen Alexandra in the future. So the Kestrel lode is in oxide material. It's open in all 4 directions and at depth. And we see that as really laying the foundations for us to get into the mining operations later this year. So we're now focused on preparing a mine plan at QA, as well as absorbing the results of the entire drilling campaign, including Redcastle Reef. We're expecting, on the basis of this drilling, to upgrade the Queen Alexandra JORC compliant mineral resource estimate, and that'll be released sometime in June. And on top of that, it'll be followed by the Redcastle Reef maiden JORC compliant resource later on. Between the 2 of these deposits, we believe we'll have more than is required as a minimum economic resource size to get into production. And the idea is we get into production to generate early cash flow. The latest drilling campaign also identified high grade 10 grams a ton and better, starting from 6 meters below surface. This is ideal for a small company that wants to generate early cash flow because there's not too much stripping to do before you get into mineralized ore.
So what are the next steps? Where do you go from here?
Next steps will basically be associated with preparation of all the backup material required for the submission to the mines department, approval of the mines plan. It'll involve negotiations with mining contractors, as well as discussions with other operators in the area which may have surplus processing capacity to toll treat our ore at a reasonable distance from our field. So overall, it's been a big 3 years. I've always said that 2025 would be a breakout year, and it's proving to be so with the latest drilling results we have. We look forward to seeing the significant upgrade in the Queen Alexandra MRE later in June, and using that to basically propel ourselves forward into mining operations.
Ron, thanks so much for joining us today.
Really appreciate the opportunity. I hope to see you again soon sometime.
For more ASX news and analysis, subscribe below.